Good morning, Europe. It is the 15th of July 2024, and the European markets will open in approximately 8 minutes. I'm just going to go through a few final checks before I declare everything open. So good morning. I can't deny that I'm a little nervous because I am now have added YouTube to my outlet, and it isn't the trading that I am concerned about. It is the does everything work. So let me see if I so you're just gonna have to be a little patient with me. First of all, I think I'm just gonna say hello to everybody. Hello, how are you? I hope that you're well, and I hope that my voice and now also face finds you in a relaxed and ready state for trading. I am not intending to have my camera on at all. In fact, what I'm going to do is what you'll predominantly see is you'll be seeing this, and this is where I am now. Just need to make sure that I'm showing the right thing. So what I intend to show is this, which is my trading account, and then you will see my charts. So I'll swapping between these three. Well, what I would like to start with, because it's important for me, is I quite like to start off by going through some slides that I have prepared on PowerPoint. The first one is a disclaimer. I assert the right to everything that is presented within this broadcast, and this material cannot be reproduced or transmitted without my explicit written permission. The material here is purely educational in nature. Just because I have won in the past does not mean that my future performance is guaranteed. I trade an instrument called CFDs. They're highly leveraged products, and they carry very high risk to your capital. You need to be really careful how you use a CFD instrument. So the bottom line here is I'm not regulated. I am not giving financial advice. This is a pure educational channel where I show people what I am doing in a real-time live environment. I don't make any guarantees or promises. I will promise is that I'll do my absolute best. I always do. And what you're seeing is the real thing. But if you have any doubts about whether high leverage trading is for you, please do not seek advice from me. Seek advice from someone who's licensed and professional in this manner. So today is the 15th of July, and I'm about to trade the European markets, which open at 9 a.m. Central European time. And this is the very first session I have ever done. So I expect a few teething issues as I get comfortable running the dashboard and my mind creates new neural pathways and new behaviors that it has to sort of just get used to, so to speak. So The reason why I'm saying that is not because I in any shape or form feel like I need to excuse my existence here, but I do ask you to bear with me for the first few sessions as I get used to running 2 sets of OBS software, Telegram software, Divergent software, plus the trading software, plus the trading platform. So I've created 10 facts about my live trading. I'd like to read them out. During the EU session, I trade the DAX index and the FTSE index, and I rarely trade anything else. During the US session, I trade the Dow index and the Nasdaq index, and I rarely trade anything else, meaning I don't trade the DAX and the FTSE during the US, and I don't trade the Dow and the Nasdaq during the EU session. I tend to trade for about 90 to 120 minutes on each session. I never use indicators, ever. I rarely use conventional technical analysis, so you will not hear me talk about wedges and ratios, etc. Of course, I'm not completely oblivious to technical analysis, so I will at times mention a double top or double bottom, but it's really not how I derive my buy signals and my sell short signals. Point number 5 is important. I never add to a losing trade. I frequently, but not always, add to a winning trade. I trade with a product called CFDs. It stands for contract for difference. It is essentially the same as a futures contract, but it is superior product to, in every single endeavor, is a superior product to a futures contract. Many of you will not be able to trade CFDs. Those of you who are not, I'm sorry, I cannot help with that. And those of you who can, well, you're the lucky ones. I trade with a broker called TD365.com. This is not an endorsement of them. I trade with them because they offer fixed spreads and the tightest spreads amongst all brokers globally. It's incredibly important as a day trader that you trade with a broker that has tight spreads, and TD365 ticks that box for me. It's also important to trade with a broker, in my mind, that doesn't increase the spreads when the markets become volatile. That's why I'm looking for a broker that has fixed spreads, and TD ticks that box. Now, many will complain that the prices that I'm calling out and trading at is not available to them. If you're trading with another broker, whatever the name of that broker might be, that is none of my business who you trade with. But if you want to try and sort of bridge the gap between the prices you're seeing here on YouTube or you hear me call out, then go to the front page of TD365.com and click on Try Demo Account. It's a one-click entry to the demo platform, and there you can see the DAX, the FTSE, the Dow, and the Nasdaq prices that I trade on, and you can compare them to your own broker's prices. You will find perhaps that the Dow Jones is trading 30 points higher or 30 points lower on your platform. That's often because of the way that the liquidity providers will factor in prices such as dividends, time to expiration, quarterly expirations. I know the market has just opened, but I do need to go through all of these slides before I start trading. By doing so, this will alleviate any confusion between the prices I trade at and the prices you are seeing on your platform. Point number 9 is I use 200 to 1 leverage. That is considered high risk, and I urge you to consider carefully if CFD trading is the right thing for you. Finally, I've disconnected comments and chat in YouTube because it's distracting for my trading. I also found that it attracts a certain element of voices that I don't necessarily want to give an airing board in public. I trade the DAX in £200 a point per risk, meaning that I don't risk £200. It means that I risk £200 for every point that the DAX is moving. That's called a 100% stake size. For the FTSE, I risk £300 per point movement, and for the Dow, I risk £100, and for the Nasdaq, I risk £200. Oh, that's it. I can be reached on hello@TraderTom.com. That's my email. My website is TraderTom.com. And if you want to reach me on Telegram, it is @TraderTom. Now, being mindful that there are an enormous amount of scammers who call themselves TraderTom1 or TraderTom_1 or in any shape or form. So to be really careful on how you type out that TraderTom if you want to get in touch with me on the on Telegram. So now I'm going to swap over to the trading platform, having gone through everything that I wanted to go through. So now I can get back down to business. The markets have opened. The markets have opened gap down. The DAX closed at 18,748. It's currently trading at 18,695. So we are looking at an approximately 50-point gap down. The FTSE closed at 7252. It is currently trading at 7201. What's shaping up here is what we call a first bar negative in the FTSE. That has implications for me. As I said, you do need to be a little overbearing with me today as I get used to all the electronics that I have to deal with. I'm trading a software that I have developed. It has a countdown timer. I will also have settings like this one click and other things and other features that I'll discuss at a later point. As you can see, I'm ready to either buy or sell short. When the FTSE prints a negative bar to begin with, what I call a first bar negative, statistically, the odds are high that we are going to see a market make some kind of bounce. So now it's just a question of waiting. So the low here is 81.86. I think I'll swap these around. So I should actually be long the FTSE down here at 86. I missed it just because I have actually messed around with my trading tickets, so maybe I'll get another opportunity shortly. So please stand by. I want to be a buyer of the FTSE below 86. I'm buying the FTSE here, currently trading at 85 point something. I'm putting a stop loss at 84.70. So now I got this software that makes it really easy for me to move my stop loss if I want. And you can see here how many points I'm making or losing. That is actually a choice that I can have. I can make my stop loss in points, or I can make my stop loss in, not that one. See, I'm just getting used to this. I can have my stop loss in monetary terms, or I can have my stop loss in points. I actually prefer to have my stop loss in points because I find that being reminded of how much I'm winning or losing isn't necessarily in my interest. So if I want to move my stop loss up, I simply just drag it. That's a functionality that the actual TD platform doesn't have yet. That's why I developed this software. The screenshots that you're seeing me taking is for my Telegram channel, so that the educational element isn't lost. Which is what this it really is all about. So I currently have about 8 points in profit. And so what I would like to do is to move the stop loss up. And I can do that simply just by clicking. So I'll move my stop loss up to 83. So there's just so many things that I have to remember now. And that's why I'm just making sure that I'm remembering it all. DAX is working on the third 5-minute candle, so soon I will have a setup which is either the aggressive school run or the school run. But for now, I'm just observing it. So you'll see here that I'm currently plus in the FTSE. My entry was 85.8. I think I wrote 86 in Telegram. Doesn't really matter. And my stop loss is currently 83. I'd love to see the FTSE a little higher and move my stop loss up. In fact, I think I will move my stop loss up now. It's easy to do. Just drag this little fella here. 80. Actually, I can't actually see where I put the stop loss, but I can always go here. It is currently at 85.1, so pretty much break even. I think there's a function in here that I know I've been told about. It's this one here. Stop to break even. Click on that, and then the stop loss is a break even. Thank you, developers. Nice work. So, I hope it doesn't sound like I'm making excuses. I'm just trying to sort of get the hang of this. That's all. So the strategy you're seeing here is a strategy called first bar negative. I went through 2,850 or 60 charts, and I classified all of them into category of: did the first bar have a positive bar? Did the first 5 minute have a negative bar? And if it had a positive bar, I would see how the market react, and if it had a negative bar, I would see how the market reacts. So you can see here now I'm plus about 4,100 pounds. So it's a perfect start to the morning. So I'll get ready to take profit. So I'm closing it here at 99.2. And so I can go in and see what's my transaction. So I made 4,000 pounds. Now I just made a mistake because I forgot to announce this in Telegram. Bugger. Shit. Anyway, hopefully no major damage done. So this is what I'm hoping that YouTube can contribute to, is that I'm able to show in a live environment, okay, this is how I've done it. Was there a reason to take profit? No, not really. I think I just wanted to get off on a good start here in YouTube. That's all. So a bit of vanity and an ego. Or maybe just it's a good start. Moving in the right direction, right? So the DAX is currently printing its fourth 5-minute bar. There's 1 minute and 30 seconds until it's complete. I've been told that there's no sound on YouTube. Is that really true? If that's the case, I don't know why. Why would there be no sound on YouTube? Oh, I don't think that the... Oh my God. Why is that not working? Testing, testing, testing. So no one on YouTube saw what I did? Hello, test. I couldn't tell you why there's no volume on YouTube. I, or maybe it's just been turned down so much. Oh wow. I think the settings on YouTube were turned down so much. What a shame. Okay. Well, I knew there was going to be teething problems. Okay. So it would seem that yeah, so it would seem that the YouTube volume wasn't working, and therefore you could see me execute the trade, but you probably couldn't understand why I was doing what I was doing. So I think I'll just explain that. So this is the FTSE, and the first bar was a negative bar. And my statistical research says that I should be a buyer below the low of that first bar. And that's what I did. So I executed a trade here in the FTSE, here at 8185.5, which is below the low of 86. I used a stop loss perhaps bigger than I would normally do. And then I took profit at 99, making £4,000. But as I said at the time, I didn't really have a good reason for getting out. I just thought maybe it would be nice to get off to a good start here on YouTube live trading. So that was the trade. Trade was essentially what we call a first bar negative. Right now, I'm noticing that the DAX is in a trading range. This is the first bar. I ignore everything that comes before that. We are currently in a gap down situation in the DAX. The DAX closed at 18,748 at the Bourse in Frankfurt on Friday. We have a series of almost inside bars and definitely what we call a trading range. I like to enter the DAX if there's momentum. There's no momentum at all today, so now I will wait for what I call a school run. The school run is the second 15-minute bar, and even here I will have some concerns about the extreme trading range, but the school run is essentially a break. You can become a member of my Telegram channel, and there you'll get a link to a channel called the Resource Channel. The Resource Channel will teach you what the aggressive school run and the school run bar is. So we actually had a trigger on the aggressive school run. I was unfortunately yapping away. As I said, you gotta go a little easy on me until I get the hang of this. And maybe that just saved my skin. As I said, I prefer to do the aggressive school run when the market is actually trending, and it really isn't. So I'm just gonna go on camera for a sec. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Definitely have some things to get used to here. I think that's it. Okay. So we are 28 minutes into the European trading session. I've traded once. I've traded a long position in the FTSE. I'm going to continue to trade, but I just thought on this very first live trading session here in YouTube, I wanted to just introduce myself and explain what has gone wrong this morning. I don't think that the volume on YouTube had been turned up. It's not such a great concern to me because I know that my other outlets, the Divergent website and the and Telegram, they would have captured it, so I can probably edit that in. I took a trade in the FTSE index on a methodology called first bar negative. I differentiate between technical analysis and what I call situational analysis. I think the problem with technical analysis is that every one of us can. Let me give you an example. Just 1 second. So I'm a prolific researcher, and if you ever saw my office, you'll see thousands and thousands of these A3 charts. They're not even A4, they are A3. And what I found it really not useful that my mind would always seek out the things that it wanted to have confirmed, and then it would filter out all the things that had no merit, which is how the mind works, unfortunately. And so I began to evolve as a different kind of trader by inventing, shall we say, what I call situational analysis. And first bar negative was really the result of me asking myself, hey, how often is the first 5 minutes in the FTSE positive, and how often is it negative? And what should I do if it's positive, and what should I do if it is negative? And so, for example, I can give you an example. If the first bar is positive, obviously the odds are strong that you're going to see momentum, balance of probabilities. But if the first bar is negative, then I found out that there was a high degree of certainty that one should be a buyer below the low. Now, where you buy is obviously where the trader comes in, because this is not an automated process. This is a manual process. And I found that accelerated my profitability as a trader by beginning to maybe look a little less on charts in a conventional manner and be more focused on a very specific subset of questions, such as what do I do if this happens? Because now the market, then your mind then has to solve a conundrum, a question, an equation. And so rather than just sort of bland looking over, all right, yeah, there's a double top. Oh yeah, there's a lower high retracement. Oh yeah, I would have bought there at the low. Surprise, surprise. Instead, I'm going to go, okay, what's the fourth bar doing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. What happens if it closes above the fourth bar? Right. What should I have done there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Right. Well, how would I have dealt with that loss there? Could I move the stop loss down? So you're beginning to actually solve a problem as opposed to just blandly looking over charts. That was the whole point of this. So for a while, I've been wanting to give people who were interested in that form of analysis a different experience rather than just using the audit that you can do in Telegram. And that's why I am now on YouTube. But the problem I have with YouTube here is that I'm going to I got many screens. So I got one screen here, and that's the one where I'm sort of navigating what you're seeing. And let me just see if I can. So that's, I have to, sorry, I can flip between these, my platform, but that's not how I observe it myself. How I observe it is I have to have that on other screens. So I have to sort of be mindful of, well, what are you watching? What am I watching? And is the volume on? And is the camera on? And so there's an element of a technical overload that I just need to get used to. And I'm actually really quite grateful that my first day is on a relatively quiet day, as it is with a lot of inside bars in the DAX. So yeah, that's the motivation for doing this, because I think that I'm quite against how trading is being sold. I don't think that trading is a get rich quick scheme at all. I think trading is extremely difficult because it goes contrary to how the human psyche operates. We're not risk takers. You might think, oh, I'm a risk taker, but fundamentally and evolutionary, you really are not a risk taker. You are a risk avoider, because that kept you alive. You're a scavenger until you became an apex predator. Um, I, I could talk a lot about this, and I'm doing so right now because the market isn't actually doing a whole lot. I guess it is in the middle of July. We are coming up to very close to a school run sell at 690 minus the offset. Offset is usually, if the low is 690, I don't sell at 690. I usually sell at, say, 688 or 687. And I may just sit that one out so that I can explain what is on my mind. I find that teachers of technical analysis, they almost all of them will fall into the category of where they will take an old chart and then they'll simply say, look what happens if you bought right there. And then they'll show an example where the market is going to the moon. And it creates a false sense of security, and it creates a false picture of what trading really is all about, which is risk management. You can have the most of mediocre systems and you can still make money if you know how to handle your risk. Plus you're able to let the bastards run, keep your fingers off the take profit. Okay, I think that's enough for now, so I'm gonna go back to. So now you should see my charts instead. As I said, I am completely in the blind here because I've turned off comments. So it's only a little bit later on that I found out that you guys couldn't actually hear me. So someone in my Telegram channel just said, thank you for what you're doing. You have to appreciate that this also makes me a more disciplined trader, because when you got a couple of hundred, or I don't know how many people are watching, but when you got people watching you, you got to stick to the rules. to me, it's also a very healthy process. So this is the FTSE. And you'll notice here in the DAX that we have a real piano pattern, yeah? Like black bar, white bar, black bar, white bar, black bar, white bar. And what that should tell you is, oh dear, we are in a range-bound market, which is fine. You know, markets don't stay range-bound forever. But not an easy market either to trade unless you are, of course, prepared for range-bound trading. So my intention is that if the market isn't doing much, I actually have an opportunity to go through some educational material. So let me see if I can show you that. And this is a good opportunity for me just to practice the so I should so this is an example of what I can do, which I intend to do. So for example, here you'll see some research that I've done on the DAX on when the inflation number, the core CPI number, is being released. So I posed myself a question. So what does the DAX do on the morning ahead of the CPI number? That was for last week, of course. And then I'll show, then I'll go through the research that I've done. So, okay, it pays off to be using the rule of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, long above, short below, decent trade, and so forth. So anyway, don't want to blow all the fuel. So why isn't it showing what I wanted to show now? Because we got a school run. Okay, don't know. Ah, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I can't get it to pick up my trading screen now. Hopefully that is my... So the school run bar here has a low of 18,690. Technically, I should be short the FTSE now. I am actually sitting this one out. I think I do have a little bit of an issue with the technology, I'm afraid. And I think I've lost a little bit track of. So this should show my webcam now, and it isn't showing my webcam. And so I don't know why. So is that showing webcam now? Yeah, okay. So now I know that. So then I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure this out, okay? Just please bear with me. Just gonna turn the volume up in YouTube, okay, so you can turn it down and adjust. Crapadoodles. Well, look, we've been going for about 45 minutes. I'm beginning to laugh a little bit at myself, which is, I think, is a good thing, but I'm just not quite as comfortable with the IT just yet as I thought I would be. But I have spared myself a losing trade in the DAX. You see, I should have been a seller of the DAX right down here. I'm glad I didn't, because the market is exceptionally range bound. And the FTSE, well, I got to trade. I executed a trade, so I'm pretty happy with that. You know, I would have liked to execute a few more trades just to sort of get used to it. This software that I'm using here, it's really quite smart because of all the functionalities. I'll put it out for general use within the next few days, but it's just the way that it it's so easy for me to place orders, for example. I can just place a multitude of orders. I can go in here, sorry, this one here. I go to orders and I can delete them all, and voila, they're all gone. And it happens so quick. So say, for example, I wanted to place a school run sell order. And by the way, if I click on this one here, it should show you signals by Tom Hougaard. And so here's some of the signals from today. And then you can sort of view them if you want to. Settings, where the default size is. But I can cover that another time. But say I want to place a sell short order here. It's so easy to do. Obviously up here, I just put in my parameters, 20 point stop loss, 20. So that's not what I want to do, but I simply just press Control Sell, and I will have a sell order down here. Do another one. So very easy to do. And delete. So I'm just going to reduce the stake size a little bit, just because in case I want to get filled, and I don't want to get filled. But so imagine that as I put so here's my sell order, and I can simply just drag that. So I can say, okay, I want to sell short above prior bar high. Voila. And I'll just put it there, which is a tool I use frequently, be a buyer above prior bar high or a seller below prior bar low. So very easy to use. I will demonstrate that more. And I better just put that back to my normal trade size. I'm sure you've all done that. You've traded a size that was too big, or you got onto a really good trade and then you realized that you were trading it in a pounder point as opposed to your normal size. So the DAX isn't doing anything, and I think I will call it a morning. Haven't actually had a DAX trade this morning, but I did have a FTSE trade, and I'm really actually very happy with how this first YouTube session went. I was able to demonstrate a setup that I have spent an inordinate amount of time researching. I also got very lucky because in my flimsiness of operating the IT behind doing all of this, I missed a signal in the DAX, which at the point of speaking right now would be losing me 15 points. Not the end of the world, but hey, what's the saying? Sometimes it's better to be out wishing you were in than being in wishing you were out. So with that in mind, I will sign off here on YouTube, and then I'll go into Telegram and just address that. Thank you so much for being here for this inaugural first live YouTube session where I didn't have volume for part of the time. But thank you for being here. No, that